Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the kickoff of our new season. We're very much looking forward to it. Our club arrived last night, our young players from Traverse City, where we went up to the annual 8-team tournament there. We were beaten in overtime in the finals by Chicago, 3-2, and I think we would call our tournament a success. We saw our young players and many others play well. We're excited about it. We're coming off a nice improvement of last season, but we're looking forward, looking north to try to make it even better. Off the ice, and I run the hockey operations side, but our business side has done a great job. Our season tickets are up. We have tremendous support from the business community here in the Columbus area. We try as an organization to make a difference in the community on the ice and off the ice. And off the ice we have, and that's the McConnell way. That's something that was taught to me and told to me when I first came to the Blue Jackets organization, and we certainly as an organization are going to continue with that in mind. NHL surveys have ranked our organization as one of the best in the league regarding a fan experience coming to the games. And we always take that very seriously. It's the entertainment business. We're in the business of winning. It goes hand in hand, but we want our fans to have a great time, and it appears that's exactly what is happening. So as we move on, we want to make sure as an organization we continue to improve on the ice and off the ice. Jarmo?
Well, we're excited to get going. Been waiting for training camp to start for a while now, to continue the progress that we have with our young group from within. The growth from within with our young players, that's going to be the key again. We keep talking about it every year, but they're very young. We were the youngest team in the NHL playoffs, and with the departure of a couple of our older veterans, and I think we're even younger this year. We're excited with the addition of Artemi Pandaren, who adds a dimension to our team that we felt that we didn't have last year. And again, the growth of our young players, it's to me really exciting to see always after the off season, and just in their appearance, how they keep getting bigger and stronger, and you can see it when the guys are 19 years old, 20 years old, and they have that off season of 4 months to work on their bodies. It can be a significant difference made in the off season, and that usually translates on the ice too. So we're excited to get going here. A couple of updates here. JD already mentioned the Traverse City. Some individual performances that I'd like to note. I think Calvin Turkov led the tournament in scoring. Pierre-Luc Dubois, him and Vitaly Abramov was our first line every game of the four games there, and I felt that they were as dominant of a line that there was in the tournament, and which was very nice to see. You know, they've had a great off season as well. You can see Vitaly Abramov's not the biggest guy, but he loves to play hockey, he loves to drive to the net and score goals, but he's gotten quicker and he's gotten faster, and that's great to see. Same thing with Pierre-Luc Dubois, playing with a lot of confidence there, really strong on the puck, and played a really solid all-around 200-foot game. Our first pairing on defense, Gabriel Carlson and Collins, they were excellent throughout the whole tournament. I thought they were the backbone of our team, but another real good performance from both of our goalies there, Kulbakov and Kivleniks. I shouldn't say surprises, because we saw him in development camp, and obviously we did a lot of scouting on Matisse Kivleniks to sign him as a free agent. But to take a step from USHL to Traverse City is not a small step, but they handled it really well, and we're excited to see him in training camp as well. A couple other updates. I'm sure you're going to ask us about Josh Anderson. He's still a work in progress, and I still believe he'll be here to start the camp. Alexander Winberg's immigration paperwork is taking a little more time than we anticipated, but he should be here, I think, tomorrow night. Brandon Dubinsky is recovering from his surgery and getting better day by day, but we're not going to take any chances with it, so we're going to make sure that he's 100% 100% health at 100% health and strong before we get him started into the exhibition games. Boone Jenner has a little bit of an issue with a middle body injury, and is working on that. So we won't rush him either. But he should be in for enough exhibition games to be ready for season opener. And that's about it. And then questions, please.
Could you revisit the Pandaren deal and maybe why you think you got the better of it? You gave up a pretty good asset there as well.
Well, we felt that we needed a game-breaking type of player that with individual skill will create offense, and also a guy who fits in perfectly with not only the right hand but a tremendous one-timer shot into our power play, and he's a guy that is a proven scorer in 2 years in the league. Both years he scored over 30 goals and 70 points. And he just gives us another dimension that we felt we didn't have. Obviously, had to give up Brandon Saad, who's a good player for us. But you know, I think we have more players that style coming from within and can replace Brandon Saad. But we didn't have a guy of style of Artemi Panarin, and that was probably the biggest reason for it.
I think that we all learned a lot, for sure, and you don't take anything for granted. This is a very difficult league, and the goal of most teams is to make the playoffs, to get into the playoffs, and then you go from there. We got into the playoffs. It didn't go well, but we learned a lot. And I think that this time around, we as a management group, and I'm sure the coaches, led by Torts, along with the players, feel good about themselves. We're a much younger group than that group that we expected more from, and we didn't get it done. And I think we all learned lessons, and those were hard lessons for the players that are still here. But we've added a lot of quality players since that point in time. You just take, for example, Zach Werenski. Let's take, for example, the work the players are putting in with the culture that's been created with their off-season work to prepare for a season. And I also think the players had such a good taste of what happened last year that they want to get back at it. So yeah, I think, Porty, that there were the valuable lessons learned. We never want to go through that again. That was torture. And I think we fought through that, and with the addition of the young players in particular, we've pushed our team to be a better team.
I wonder if you might be able to reflect on how different you feel sitting up there today than maybe you did a year ago to this point.
Could you repeat that, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wonder how different you might feel this year sitting up there right now looking ahead to the season than you did a year ago.
Well, we were obviously coming from a huge disappointment in the previous year. I still to this date don't think that we were actually that bad, but that's where we ended up in the standings, and those are the factors that determine and decide who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. And you know, we as JD said, we learned a lot from it. I think the one thing that we've learned for sure is that never take anything for granted in this league, and you got to keep pushing and getting better, taking the next step. But I think the strength lies in our young group here, knowing that they got to keep pushing in their individual careers, but also as a group, and I think that will definitely make us stronger. And you know, it feels different. Obviously, I think we have a lot of confidence that's been earned and deserved at this point. But again, we have to remind ourselves that nothing comes for granted in this league, and it's going to be a difficult road to the playoffs. My
feeling is too that you have to put the work in. And I think our players, from what we sense and who we've talked to, and the testing will happen, I sense that they put the work in. If you don't put the work in, it's very difficult. This league it's that close, it's that tough. And I think we as a management group and the coaching staff, again led by Torts along with our training staff, the reports are that, boy, the players look pretty good. Brandon Dubinsky would be an example. He really looks good, aside from recovering from his off-season surgery. Young and old, older, not old, older players, put the work in. It's going to help us.
Last year, obviously, you spent a lot of nights relying on Bob to win games for you. What gives you confidence that maybe this year, if he's having an off night, an off week, an off series, that you can overcome that?
See, I think that Bob was tremendous last year, but I actually think that our defense and our team played very well around him, where that helped Bob as well. It's a two-way street, and I think that we have a good group as far as defending, but I don't remember too many nights where Bob was just a savior, where it was all Bob and getting peppered by 55 shots and saving our hides. That happened a couple of years ago, or the last time he won the Vezina. There were a lot more of those games where he stood on his head and was unbelievable. I thought that the group effort last year and how we played as a team, how we defended as a team, was a big improvement from the past. But obviously Bob's a big part of our success and will be.
Yeah, Bob was really consistent, I thought, throughout the regular season, really consistent. And he had a good start to his season and fought all the way through, and that makes a big difference. I also thought our team, and we hope to have it even more so, where we have the puck more. Getting the puck in our zone, first pass, controlling pucks out of the zone, that takes a lot of pressure off goaltenders. There's no question. And then there's discipline on the ice, penalties, things like that. I thought that we made a good stride last year in that area.
Guys, back to that theme of 2 years ago, I remember when Torts was hired, he said dealing with expectations can really take a lot out of a team that hasn't had to deal with them before. So as they try to avoid that scenario, is it more of a physical thing or a mental thing that allows them to move forward on the expectations and capitalize on those? I
think a lot was proved to themselves last season, that this is a good group if you put your work in. I think the off-season's gone well in that respect. And if people have expectations for you, or you have expectations for yourself, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means we've got a team that's going to battle. We've got a team that can win. And we have to go out and prove it, obviously. But I think coming into this camp with some good things that happened last season, and you can't live on last season, but it did prove some things, that we have an attitude of, you know what, this is a good hockey club. We don't have to take a back seat to anybody. So why don't we go out and play well? Why don't we go out and make things happen? Why don't we rely on penalty killing and checking properly and scoring goals and power play and goaltending, et cetera? We feel good about where we are as an organization. We still know we have ways to go. We just know that. We haven't won anything yet. But we're starting to position ourselves where we feel pretty good. Again, if you're not ready for it, you're going to get bit. It's just the way it works in this league. This is a tough league. The parity is pretty special. But I think everybody from, I know myself and Jarmo and Bill Zito, we respect the fact that this is a good league. We respect the fact that nothing is given to you. So we've, I think, had a good off season. We'll see how camp goes and then go from there.
Building on that question, last year there was a lot of questions for this group of could they take on ownership of the room. In addition to the physical strides you've seen, how would you describe the leadership progression of this group of players since last year?
Well, I think that's, with the young group like we have, it's part of growing up. And Nicky Foligno did a great job last year as a captain, got awarded to it and recognized around the league for his leadership. I think that good leadership breeds leadership. We have a lot of young players that will become great leaders in this league when their turn comes and when they take on more responsibility on the ice. Everything kind of falls into place and follows. And I think we have a lot of potential, great potential leaders in our young players, but they have to go through the process and earn their stripes. But at the same time, our leadership at the top too can keep developing. You know, Nicky Foligno can be a better captain, and I know that he wants to be a better captain, keep improving every year at it, and that's something that we try to pay a lot of attention to from the management group. I know Torch works with our leaders and leadership group all the time, every day. I try to work with them frequently and regularly, and you know, that's. But they want to also grow as leaders, and that's important.
You know, I think as a person who oversees, I think Jarmo has done a great job in not letting things slip, spending time talking and having dialogue with whether it's John Tortorella, the head coach, or Nicky, the captain, and other players too, and he does it the right way. I think that Nicky's come miles and miles with leadership skills. I think John Tortorella has a lot to do with that. I think they have a great bond. And I don't think, from my point of view at least, that we have one bit of concern about our room. It's the players' room. And if it gets out of kilter a little bit, they straighten it out. And that's the way it should be. I used to lose a lot of sleep over this, and I don't lose any sleep over that anymore. I feel very comfortable about it.
We've got time for one or two more for these guys. Lori, then Aaron.
I don't want to ask about concerns because you're coming off a very good season and it's too early to know anything this year. But as a front office, what are the things you're keeping an especially close eye on as the season starts here?
Well, we try to keep a close eye on everything, so I mean, not to let anything slip by, or you know, dot every I and cross every T, and look at every little detail that you know, constructs the whole building that we're trying to put together here. So I think that the day we start thinking that we can improve on every area is a day we start regressing, and then we definitely don't want to get into anywhere near that type of mindset. We want to have the mindset that we want to grow every day, and whether it's a concern, I don't know if that's the word I would use, but we want to think about getting better, improving at the growth every day, and you know, so we don't take anything for granted. You know,
I'm very excited about this camp because since we've been here trying to build the Blue Jackets, I think we have more depth now than we've ever had, and we're excited about that. We were excited about the tournament we just had in Traverse City, and you know, you can back that up. We've got some guys that really have strong attitudes about coming in here to push for jobs, and players have to understand that. This isn't now a team where I'm coming to camp, I'm going to be this person and I'm that person. I'm going to better realize there's some people here that are pushing, and that's a good sign for our organization. It puts us in a good spot to do a lot of things. So we're excited about watching these young people. The majority we have drafted, so they're coming from within. We're trying to develop in a lot of different ways, see how much stronger they've gotten physically over this summer. Can they handle a physical play, etc. We have 8 exhibition games. These are important games for a lot of people, and well, I don't think we were able to say that in the past. We've got some good depth. We're excited about it.
So for both of you, what do you see when you look at your center ice position, and how big of a concern is that with Dubinsky recovering? Should be ready for the start of the season, but we'll see. And Carlson no longer here. Just the uncertainty. It's such an important spot on the ice, just what the uncertainty tells you and you think about.
Well, we have Alex Wenberg under contract now. We are confident that Dubinsky will be ready for the regular season. And we have Boone Jenner, Nick Foligno, Pierre-Luc Dubois that can play center. And then we have Lucas Sedlak. Sam Vigneault improved during the tournament in Traverse City and played extremely well in Cleveland at the end of the year. He's a guy that's up and coming. He's a prospect at that position. And what we did with our first line in Traverse City, we had Pierre-Luc Dubois play center most of the games, but then one game we had Calvin Turcoff play center. We wanted to put our best forwards into the same line, so there's only one center spot. But when Turcoff played center, I think he had his best game. And there's another option for us at center. I'm not sure if he'll be ready to play in the NHL this year. Time will tell. But with tremendous potential anyways. And also, I've mentioned this before, that Lucas Sedlak's shown growth every year that he's been in this organization. Every year he keeps improving, he keeps getting better. He just works at it, and he has great desire to get better and improve. So, you know, there's a good chance that he's going to do that again and take another step in his career. So we'll see. Well, that's why we're excited to see these exhibition games, to see where all the pieces fall and who's going to take which role and who's going to have the best chemistry with our new player, Artemi Pandaren, who's going to fit into that line and who's going to play in center if that one spot there is open, whether it's second or third or whichever way the pieces fall in this exhibition season. I think that's what makes this training camp exciting, to see where all the guys fit and who plays who's grown in the off season, who's pushing who, and like JD mentioned, there's going to be these young guys that are going to be looking at those open spots, eyes wide open, saying, I'm going to take that spot. And there's going to be great competition, and that's what it's all about. That's the fun part of a training camp, is that nobody, and you have to earn your ice time. And I know that's the one thing that I keep saying about Torts, is that what I love about his coaching is that you have to earn your ice time. You're not going to get it unless you earn it, and you have to earn it every day. It's not that you play one good game and then you can just breathe deep and rest for the next 5. He's going to keep you on your toes, and you need to earn your ice time. That's the way it should be.